Good morning and welcome, everybody. Couple of notes, please be aware that our meetings will be recorded and uploaded to the Township YouTube channel for public viewing. Any opinions expressed will become part of the public record. I'm going to ask for a moment of silence this morning for the kids in Tumble River or Tumble Ridge. Thank you very much. I'll call the meeting to order with our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we meet on the traditional lands as described in the Williams Treaty, in particular our neighbors from Current Lake and Fourth and Anishinaabe First Nations. We recognize and honor the original people of this place we call North Kawartha. As duly elected representatives, we follow the Indigenous practice of acknowledgement to foster respectful deliberations, thoughtful collaboration, and wise decision-making in our service to this community. Okay, disclosure of plan, interest, anybody? No, okay. Adoption of the agenda, any additions, at the time?
No additions, Deputy Mayor.
Okay, Deputy Mayor. One motion to adopt the agenda, Jim O'Shea and Colin. All those in favor? Thank you. Well, we got a nice thing to do this morning here. You know, it's always a pleasure for council, two ways really. First of all, when somebody passes something like this, they become a lot more valuable to the township. Secondly, it becomes a lot more valuable for themselves to move forward and so on and so forth. So it's really a pleasure to present Keely-Anne with the certificate for successfully completing the AMCTO, and she almost failed, you realize. Couldn't remember what the AMCTO. But the administration program consists of 4 units to be taken over a 2-year period, with each unit requiring the completion of several assignments. The program is a foundation that municipal professionals need to gain the knowledge and skills that are essential to working in municipal government. Keely-Anne first joined the township in October 22, and along with this certificate has completed additional courses in parliamentary procedure, bylaw preparation, and various municipal webinars. Congratulations from all of council to Keely-Anne, and we expect to see a lot more done. If you would come up, come on, council, this is for all of us. Get your picture took. Keely-Anne, congratulations.
Thank you.
Make it something fun. We can get in there.
Stay in the middle.
You're good at highlighter.
Need a wide angle lens?
That's good, all right. Perfect, excellent. Goodbye.
Everybody goes.
Okay, what happened to the congregation out there?
Nobody for us to hide behind now.
Okay, I'll move us into statutory public meetings. The statutory public meeting is declared to hear a zone amendment application. This is the opportunity for the public to provide written or verbal comments on the application. The Planning Act has removed the right of public appeals on council decisions Only the applicant, public agencies, and specified persons may appeal within the third 20-day appeal period from the date of the notice of decision. And I think we have Anthony online. Yes, we do. Go ahead, Anthony. Take us through it.
Thank you very much, Your Worship, and good morning to the other members of council.
I'm going to get you turned up a little bit.
Okay. How's that?
No more, Mr. Worship. My name is Jim.
Well, good morning, Jim, and good morning, members of council. Can you hear me better now?
That's perfect.
Great. As you mentioned, my name is Anthony Homick. I'm the manager of the planning team at JP2G Consultants, and stepping in for Forbes this morning, who unfortunately has been called away due to a family situation. So I will be presenting his report, let's say to the best of my abilities, and we have had some brief discussion about the report. However, it's worth noting that I haven't been present or participating in any of the application process as it's made its way through to you today, nor was I present or did I participate in any of the pre-consultations. So really we'll present Forbes's reports to yourselves and to any members of the public who may be attending. And I will do my best to answer questions that anyone may have. So the public meeting this morning is for zoning bylaw amendment application ZA 15-25. And this is in Chandos Ward, concession 7, part of lot 25. The municipal address is 319 Walks Road. The property is approximately 0.33 hectares in size, and which is approximately 0.8 acres. It has approximately 112 meters of water frontage on Chandos Lake, which is about 367 feet. The official plan designates the property as shoreline residential, and the zoning bylaw for the township similarly zones the property shoreline residential. Just by way of some background and overview, the application has been submitted to permit the replacement of an existing cottage on the subject property. The subject property is accessed by a private road, Walks Road, and fronts on the eastern shore of Chandos Lake. The existing lot was enlarged with the purchase of an abutting road allowance. In support of the application, the agent, Mr. Kevin Duguay, has submitted a planning justification report, a detailed site plan, and an archaeological assessment. The application was originally submitted for a pre-consultation in December 2024, which, as noted, included the demolition of the existing cottage and the replacement of it with a 2-story, 482 square meter dwelling with approximately 78 square meters of attached deck. During the pre-consultation meeting, it was noted that the existing dwelling is approximately 12.8 meters from the water on its western boundary and approximately 32 meters to the water on its southern shoreline. The property does have quite a bit of shoreline, and the shoreline sort of wraps the property like a hockey stick, if you will. And that's how I'm referencing and how the report references the southern shoreline and western shoreline. At the time of the pre-consultation meeting, the new building was shown at approximately 13 meters setback from both of these shorelines. And the comments that were prepared by Forbes and by the township at the time stressed that the official plan requires a 30-meter setback from the high water mark, which is for an appropriate balance between built form and natural environment, and to protect the key ecological functions of the shoreline. That said, reconstruction of and expansion of existing dwellings located within the setback is permitted, provided that no further encroachment into the water setback takes place. The formal application was submitted in August 2025 with a modest reduction in the overall dwelling size and an increase in that southern water setback from 13 meters to approximately 18 meters. The 13-meter setback to the western shoreline remained the same. So the application that is the subject of this public meeting includes 4 areas of relief to the zoning bylaw. Now, the first one is minimum lot area, which is required to be 0.35 hectares. And at 0.33, this is just shy of that requirement. The setbacks for minimum water yard, as noted, these are required to be 30 meters for a dwelling, and the relief requested is 13.3 and 18.05. There is a relief requested as well for the minimum rear yard to 7.23 meters, and there is also a request for maximum building height relief. I will now walk through the planning analysis. So all decisions, as you may know, on a zoning bylaw amendment are required to be consistent with the provincial planning statement and conform to the official plan. With respect to the provincial planning statement, staff are the opinion that the application is not consistent due to the magnitude of the water setback reductions proposed. It is widely accepted that the required 30-meter setback from water bodies is intended to implement the PPS policies aimed at protecting water resources. The PPS states that the official plan is the most important vehicle for its implementation. So the bulk of the review of the application and the formation of the planning opinion relies on the official plan for the County of Peterborough, which also includes policies for the local townships. So policies for both the overarching County of Peterborough official plan and the seasonal residential designation direct that the preservation of naturally vegetated shorelines be encouraged. Section 6.2.5.3 sets out the policies related to the 30-meter setback from the water. As I noted earlier, the policies do permit existing development that is located in the required water yard to expand in accordance with the provisions of the zoning bylaw, provided that the enlargement does not further encroach into the 30-meter setback. The review of the plans submitted during pre-consultation, the original zoning bylaw amendment application, and the revised zoning bylaw amendment application all identify the proposed new dwelling as encroaching further into that setback from the southern shoreline. And the application before council identifies the new structure as being approximately 14 meters or 46 feet closer to the southern shore of Chandos Lake than the existing cottage, which is contrary to the policies of the official plan and which was expressed from the beginning during the pre-consultation. Furthermore, worth noting that the proposed septic system to serve the new dwelling appears to be located within the 30-meter setback, and it doesn't appear that there have been efforts made to locate that septic system outside of the 30 meters. So therefore, staff are of the opinion that the proposed redevelopment of the subject property represents an overdevelopment, and the magnitude of the encroachment into the southern water setback does not conform to the official plan. The planning justification report submitted by the applicant does not address the official plan policies of section 6.2.5 regarding the 30-meter setback and has presented no planning argument to support the further encroachment into the 30-meter setback. And therefore, it is submitted as our professional planning opinion that the proposed application does not conform to the County of Peterborough official plan. With respect to public and agency comments, I'm not aware of any public comments that were submitted. Perhaps staff, if anything has been submitted since the agenda went up, perhaps staff can fill you in. There were comments received from the Curve Lake First Nation, which requested some additional information and essentially requested to be involved in the review of the application. Once the comments were received from Curve Lake, the applicant did provide them with a copy of the archaeological assessment. There are no financial implications to the township of this or stemming from this application. And just in conclusion, it is staff's professional opinion that the proposal before council is not consistent with the provincial planning statement and is not in conformity with the Peterborough County official plan, does not represent good land use planning, and it is our professional recommendation that the application should be refused. Thank you for your time, and happy to answer questions that I am able to answer. If not, as noted, this is the public meeting, so ultimately this application will be back before council at at a future meeting date. So thanks again, and happy to answer questions.
Well, thanks, and I'm glad you're sticking around. Okay, so at this time, does council have any question right at the moment, or do you want to hear the public?
I'll hear from the phone.
Okay, is there anyone here to speak in favor of this application? Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Mr. Whalen. How are you? Deputy Mayor Whalen, how are you today?
Perfect, thanks.
I understand you are chairing the meeting today, sir?
Pardon?
You are chairing the meeting today, yes?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Thank you.
The name is Jim, as you know, Kevin.
I do, Jim. Thank you. I'd like to first of all apologize for being late arriving. I was attempting to log on, and behind the scenes, Kelly Picken was kind enough to resend a refresh of the meeting invite. So, but I did hear Mr. Hommick's presentation, I believe most of it, and I'd like to for council's benefit, respond to some of the comments made by your planning consultant, some of the comments contained within the planning consultant report. I think it's important that I spend some time on that matter. Now, for the council's benefit, typically I don't focus on a critique of the staff report or the consultant's report, but in this case, I'm compelled to do so. So allow me, I'll be as quick and prudent as I can with my time. The original application filed by my clients, Yannick and Chantal Bison, who are actually attending the meeting. I believe they're in Chicago as we speak, returning to Canada. The original building program had a area of 482 square meters. It was at the time, a large dwelling. There had arising from that pre-consultation, modifications were made to the building program, significant modifications, significant reduction in the building program. To that extent, there is approximately 245 square meters of building area has been reduced from the building program. We listened to the consultants in the original pre-consultation, and the building program was changed in response to that concern. Now, the building itself, Jim and council members, it contextually has to reflect the peninsula setting. It's a long, narrow property. The building will end up being long and narrow. We respected to the full extent possible the shoreline setback. And in my planning experience in your community since 2005, several properties have included peninsula developments. We didn't, in the past, staff, the council, myself, and property owners did not consider peninsula property and apply different setbacks relative to orientation on a side of a peninsula. We established a setback, which is clearly shown on the concept plan, the most restrictive, and we simply follow that line all the way around the peninsula. So from my perspective, from my experience in your township, we are meeting the provisions of the official plan and respecting the water yard. Mr. Hommick went on to say, relative to that comment, a concern about the natural and vegetated shorelines. Interestingly enough, there was no requirement at all during this process for an environmental study. None. There was no requirement for a shoreline restoration study. The pre-consultation identified the need for a archaeological assessment, conceptual plans, building plans, floor plans, and planning justification report, all provided. Crow Valley Conservation Authority has not offered an opinion that an environmental report or any study of natural context was required. So pre-consultation, a much larger building, work with the clients, work with the architect. We file an application in December. It is a substantially reduced building program. The coverage now, Jim, within the consultant's report, now unfortunately the pages aren't my copy, they're not paginated, but in the section entitled proposal overview on the second page, and I quote, "It was noted that the proposed redevelopment exceeded the maximum lot coverage by 7% and the permitted maximum lateral extension." The building coverage, the actual building coverage, including the cottage, decks, and a small accessory structure, is 10.7%. It's not 17%, it's 10.7. And from my perspective, that cannot and does not constitute overdevelopment of a property. There also is reference within the report on that same the same section on proposal overview, and it speaks to different cardinal directions. And I searched your zoning bylaw, I searched the official plan, I searched the people. Nowhere is that referenced from a policy context or a regulatory context. My view, Jim and council members, that appears to be an interpretation by your consultant how they would consider measuring setbacks on a peninsula property. And it differs dramatically from how this has been interpreted successfully in the past and responsibly in the past. And that's important. We also acknowledge that we did receive comments very late in the process from Curve Lake First Nations Committee. I have read their response in detail. It is my interpretation of the comments provided by Curve Lake. The majority of it is directed to the municipality, explaining process. Very little of it is relative to this application. And it's my understanding that Curve Lake would have known about this application early days, even at original pre-consultation. And their comments now asking for an environmental study is very late in the process. And I can advise council, upon the receipt of comments from Curve Lake, I immediately responded to Curve Lake, provided them a copy of the archaeological assessment, which found no issues, incidentally, my planning justification report, and the concept plans. I have not heard back from Curve Lake since. So with respect to Curve Lake, the request this late in the process for an environmental study, I find unusual, and that study could have been identified much earlier in the process. And I can confirm that my clients would have undertaken immediately to secure a professional to carry out the study. So, Mr. Chairman and council members, my clients they undertook to, there was a pre-consultation meeting. We received a report. The building program was changed. The development as contemplated represents 10.7% lot coverage. Also, there was a comment by Mr. Homick that there's been no attempt to have the septic facility appropriately located. Well, the existing septic facility is very close to the water. The proposed facility is approximately some 60 feet from the water. Now, the way the property is arranged, there is no single place we could establish a setback on the property so that it could meet a 30-meter setback from the water yard. It can't be done. We have worked very closely with Matt King, the general contractor, and Greg Armstrong insofar as the tank and the bed facility itself, placing it as far as we can from the water, but we're also encumbered by the road. We can only go so close to the road, and we have to be a distance from the house. So the septic location has dramatically improved in this instance. Mr. Chairman and council members, Jim, council members, my planning opinion, my planning justification report, as written in December of 2025, remains applicable and remains valid. It is my professional opinion that the application does conform with the policy directives of the 2024 PPS, that the application does comply with the policy directives of the 2022 county official plan. I acknowledge that the county's official plan is still under review, but we're referring to the 2022 version. I do acknowledge that the application did require a zoning bylaw amendment. That has been filed, and the application is filed appropriately recognizes the requirements to permit a responsible redevelopment of property. Mr. Chairman, Jim, council members, those are my comments. I am available. Should any comments be made of me, and if it's appropriate, there may be an instance where there might be a question better responded to by Chantel or Yannick, who have joined us for this call, and I make myself available now for the committee's questioning. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Is there anyone else here who would like to speak in favor of this application? Is there anyone who would like to speak against this application? I don't see any of you. Okay, I'll open it up to council, Kevin and Anthony, and be ready for questions that they might have. Council, go ahead.
So I'm not sure who would be easiest to address it. It looks like that the western shoreline setback has been addressed, but I still can't find really numbers talking about how significant the encroachment is versus the existing building, and the site plan doesn't make it very clear. So what sort of encroachment are we talking about on the other, the non-western shorelines?
Okay, Kevin, you'd have those figures, wouldn't you? It looks to me like it was 32 meters to start with, and now it's 18. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, Jim, in response, that would be, so I'm looking at the existing setback. One is approximately 14.29 meters, and another, depending upon where you measure it and what shoreline, would be greater than that. Yeah, and again, you have, because it's a peninsula, and as you wrap around, it goes from 13 to 14, perhaps greater than, and certainly it's greater than 14 in one instance, yes. But again, Mr. Chairman, the plan that is been prepared by the property owner actually shows, we've taken the existing 13 meters setback, and we've shown it all the way around the peninsula, all the way around. And we've also shown a 15-meter setback. So we do show how the building, the entire building is located away from and no closer to the existing setback. So it's within the 13 meters. And depending where you measure it from, the dimension is much greater than 13 meters, substantially greater. And that's a challenge, sir, with a peninsula property.
And also, it may just be the challenge with the resolution of the map that we have, because if I zoom in, I can't really read everything that's on it. So
I could try to help. I have my print copy. It's quite legible in front of me, yes.
But the dual lines that are running through that almost look like they'd be a very narrow road allowance, that's the existing setback marked on the map?
That is correct. So the one hash mark is a 13-meter existing water setback. And it's showing how the building would be outside of that dimension. All the way around. And then if you note, Mr. Chairman, as you proceed around the property, the setback of that structure from the water changes dramatically because of the orientation of the building and the orientation of the peninsula.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Nobody?
It's so.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll keep talking then. So when it comes to Curve Lake, and I realized that Kevin wasn't being critical of them. We sent out the letter on the 19th and got response on the 23rd. Something like a stage 1 archaeological assessment that can be done fairly quickly. That I can understand being a recommendation. Once you get into environmental impact assessment, is there any way that we can work with Curve Lake to try to get that information to the owner earlier? I'm not sure if that's more of a Laura question or.
That's a question for the ages, I think. At Land Division, the last time we had one that wasn't getting a reply, so we just passed it.
Mr.
So,
Chairman,
yeah.
if I can clarify, an archaeological assessment stage 1 and stage 2 report has been completed. We did secure the professional that was made available to the municipality. Curve Lake, as noted, sir, there was a request, their letter, which was dated January 23rd, which the planning staff, your consultant, did provide to my office. I immediately provided the archaeological assessment, but contained within their response, very late in this process, is a request for a environmental impact study, which would be a new request, never identified since the previous consultation in November of 2024.
And if I may, apologies, my Zoom glitched there for a second and my video is gone. But just to add to that, to what Mr. Duguay is saying, staff through the review never did identify the need for an EIS, so we don't see that as being required. I'll leave any of those discussions about your relationship with Curve Lake to council and to the applicant, but as at least from our perspective as staff and consultant, we don't see the need for that environmental impact study.
Thanks very much, Anthony. Is there anything else, Council? Go ahead.
I do have a concern with the septic being at 20 meters, but you say there's no way to put it at 30 meters from the lake. Anywhere that you.
Mr. Chairman, in response, because of the configuration of the property and because of the, I describe it as somewhat long and narrow, we would not be able to have the septic located, a septic suitable for the reduced building area, anywhere on the property that would meet the 30-meter setback. And moreover, then we'd have another problem if we could, it almost have to be on the other side of the road. My clients also bought a portion of the shoreline, an open shoreline road allowance to accommodate a responsible building program, including the ability to have a septic as far away from the water as possible. And you have my assurance, we have studied and considered a septic location at great length. And this is the one location that, from a development perspective, works. And it's as far removed from the water as we can make that. And there is provisions in the official plan that allows for such reduction in these limited circumstances.
Okay. I'm going to ask Matt. Matt, were you out to take a look for the septic system on this property yet?
So it's our understanding that the property is mostly bedrock to the surface, very little soil coverage. So I myself have not been out to the property. No. I also wanted to comment quickly about the notification to agencies. So our process is not to notify agencies at time of pre-consultation. We are receiving requests from Crow Valley to start to be notified at pre-consultation stages. And if Curve Lake would be wanting to be notified at pre-consultation, we can look at doing that as well. But for this time, we don't notify agencies until an application is received and it's being brought forward.
That's maybe something that can be discussed at our September meeting when we have all the townships together.
That's a good idea. Yeah, good idea. Okay. That's a thing in the future, but okay. There's still something here. I think we're really one person says that we're really encroaching on the water setback and the other one says we really aren't. What, Kevin, what is your interpretation of the water, the water setback from the closest one? Is that what you're taking as the measurement?
Mr. Chairman, Jim, in response, my ongoing experience dealing with peninsula properties in your municipality and others in the county of Peterborough has been, we look at the existing building configuration, in this case, the cottage. We establish the closest water yard setback, and we then would establish a line around the limits of the peninsula property and demonstrate that the new building is no closer at any point relative to the peninsula shoreline. What appears to be happening here is the consultant is saying on one shoreline it's this, on the other shoreline it's something very different. And it's been my experience with other approvals in your township, sir, were approved by council and staff, that my ongoing understanding experience, the former is the one that would be relying upon because it's consistent with how decisions have been made in the past for peninsula properties.
Okay, and Anthony, you're saying the opposite.
Well, and I can't speak to exactly what's gone on in Forbes's mind through the process, but I mean, looking at the application, typically, I would suggest that there's some maybe leniency is not the right word, but some recognition of the fact that the existing cottage is 13 meters, roughly 13 meters setback from the western shoreline. And the existing cottage is over 30 meters. It meets the 30-meter water setback at 32 meters from the southern property line. And typically when I'm evaluating applications for water setbacks, best practice is to attempt to meet that 30 meters all the way around as best you can, working with the lay of the land, of course. So as Mr. Duguay said, it's peninsula properties are a challenge, just like irregularly shaped lots anywhere. It's a bit of a challenge in establishing those appropriate setbacks. But yes, our opinion is that the encroachment into that setback from the southern property line is too much to support in this case.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else? Any more clarification that everybody needs? Kevin, I'm with Ruth Ann about the septic. What is the setback from the road? Like you say, the road interferes with getting it set back any further.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Jim, the setback from the limits of the property is 3 meters, and your bylaw does have some regulations about how close we can be to that's the leaching bed facility itself. And because of the irregular shape of the property and the width, when you place a building as far removed from the water as possible, you're limited to where your septic facility can go. And Jim, you have my assurance. This is the one location on the site that would work. And it's the one location that is far removed from the shoreline as possible, noting that the existing facility is very close to the shoreline. This is a dramatic improvement for this property.
Well, council. Jim O'Shea. Okay, go ahead, Jim.
I would prefer to defer this information until we have more information. We don't have anything from Crow Valley here.
What about Crow Valley? What about Crow Valley, Kevin or Anthony? Have you got something from Crow Valley?
Through you, I don't believe there was anything received from Crow Valley, but maybe Kevin can speak to that better than I can.
Mr. Chairman, Jim, I can confirm that as of your meeting, there has been nothing received by my office from any staff of Crow Valley Conservation Authority.
Go ahead.
So again, I can't speak to the entire history of the township, but I'll point out that the setback system that's being used here was very recently used and approved another point on this very lake by this council, I would say probably about 2 months ago. So it's not out of the question to be using it because we have been using it.
Okay,
I know that you have a motion on the floor, but,
I don't have a motion because I haven't, it's not
oh,
seconded.
it's not seconded. Okay, so.
Uh,
Let's see.
Are you moving that we defer?
Yes, I would, that council defers zone amendment application ZA 1525 because of the lack of information from Crow Valley and a report from First Nation.
Okay, those are your reasons. Does anybody want to second that? No, okay. Well, you had your hand up, did you say something or?
I got it, but I'd actually be at this point willing to move that council approves zone amendment 1525.
Is there a seconder for that? This is gonna be fun. What was it you said about 2-2?
Yeah.
I'll second it. Okay, put it on the floor and so we'll see where it goes. If there's any further questions you've got, please ask them.
I'd like to see a better map that I could actually read. That would be my reason for deferrals, but with this motion on the floor.
Go ahead.
And the big one that I see, and I realize it would be nice to put every septic 100 feet back. But if we're taking a septic that's 30 feet back and moving it to 70 feet back, taking an old septic, turning it into a new modern septic, as a net, we're still really getting a big gain. And as far as environmental concerns, leaching, that's really what I'm most concerned about on the property. And I think that the setbacks, while they don't meet policy, are reasonable.
Is the building code still 50 feet?
It is.
Thank you. So it's within the building code too. Okay, I'm gonna have to ask for the vote. Okay, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you very much, Kevin. Thank you very much, Anthony.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Your worship,
Thank you,
excuse me, Mayor, Deputy Mayor Whalen and council members, thank you. As a follow-up, just for the benefit of, I will make certain that a fresh, clean copy of the PDF is circulated yet today through to your planning office. Thank you, sir.
Okay, have a good day.
I will.
Okay. Oops, I lost my agenda. Is the we've come out of public hearing and the county update. We had an update. We had an update on the economic development and they're coming out with a full plan now to include Edward's gone. But it sounds very comprehensive. And we had a notice of motion to make the council size in Peterborough 8 reps instead of 16. And to nobody's surprise, it was turned down. And we had a notice of motion to look into the county doing the tar and chip with their own equipment. And that's passed already. So, have you heard anything about it?
I haven't yet, no.
Okay, well, it isn't approved by council, it just went for a study.
Oh.
Okay, so you'll be hearing from them. That's it for that. Motion to receive the. Ruth Ann and Colin, all in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, I better get my own agenda here. Yeah. Oh, the Crow Valley report, no report, Colin?
And no report for meeting, not this Thursday, but the Thursday after.
Okay, so we'll keep that. Adoption of the minutes of the last meeting, February the 3rd. Motion to approve, Ruth Ann and Jim O'Shea. All in favor? Motion is carried. Why did you go down on this thing? Never mind, I'll take the time here and get my own. My goodness, that's here.
Here, you can give me.
Oh, just a minute, I got a
Paper.
page right here, yeah. Okay. No business arising from the minutes. Is there anything in the consent agenda that anybody wants pulled in? No, motion to receive the consent agenda of Colin and Ruth Ann, all in favor? Motion is carried. And new business or unfinished business, so what time is closed session called for? All right.
Not till, we don't need to go until 11:15.
At 11:15.
Yeah.
There's nothing else, eh?
We got the
No,
finance.
Staff reports,
Yeah.
Pardon?
staff reports. I think that was.
This group. 5 minutes and a minute.
No, okay.
They're making us work.
Okay. I've got that in my agenda, right?
Okay.
This is crazy.
I'll call for a 5-minute recess.
Oh,
We'll get
that's
everything
good. Thank
reorganized.
you very much, Colin. Why don't we have a 5-minute recess?
Do you pause